There we go. Hey everybody, welcome back to Ninja Monkey Gaming. This is episode number 28. Fallout and the other game, Battlefront. That's not the actual title, I just forgot it, so I just improvised. We're back with another episode. We're going to be talking about, well, pretty much mostly Fallout 4 and Battlefront, like we talked about last week. So we're going to get into more in-depth on these two games because they are major release titles, both coming out very soon. In fact, we got Fallout 4 coming out in 6 days. So get your game prepped and get ready to go into the world of post-apocalyptic, well, mess.
5 days and 3 hours according to Steam.
Okay then, what he said. Yeah, midnight. I won't be playing it at midnight because I have to work the next day, but I will be playing it after work. And I am joined by my fellow co-hosts, as you heard already, Mr. Justin Navosi, Blood Techie.
Hi. Fallout 4. Fallout 4.
Hi everybody.
Give me Fallout 4.
Hi everybody. And I am joined.
This guy, man, he's an addict already.
It's not even out yet. We are joined as always with the man with the voice, Mr. Fred Werner, aka Baranon.
Hello, Joe. Hello, Justin. Hello, Fallout 4.
You know,
Let's play.
I was just thinking, Fred, that your gamer tag actually fits you pretty well because I think baritone is your voice and Baranon and works.
Yeah, it works.
One of these days,
I
I'm
didn't
gonna
think
have.
of that when I made the name up, but
I'm going to ask you one of these days how you did come up with a name.
okay.
Mine was completely stolen from Elder Scrolls Morrowind. So Elder Scrolls 3 from an NPC character.
Well, since we're going into it, why not? Fred, how'd you get that name?
It's a name that I had from something I created in D&D in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
And it was just something that I pulled out of my head. And I was creating I'm a very big role player, especially back then. And so it was a full-blown character creation and, the whole background and, who his father was, his mother was, and his name was Baranon. His last name was Lorgard. And that's how he was created. And
that works.
That
so
actually
unique.
fits.
You like that?
So my daughter,
yeah. and that also just kind of fell into it. It wasn't really meant to be because of my addiction to lore. I never even thought of that until recently, really. But it's spelled Lorgard. It's not,
okay.
So it's not really lore, but it is.
So when you say it sounds it.
My daughter, I get my kids 1 day a week right now because of my situation, and my daughter gave me a gift on this last Sunday. She knows I play Angry Birds Friends with my mom all the time, and she gave me, you guys can't see it yet, but you'll see in a minute, a little Angry Birds figurine for Christmas. It's the Bluebird, and she said, "Dad, here's your good luck charm."
Wow.
So that is my good luck charm.
Well, your luck has changed a bit in the last few weeks, so.
Yeah, and I was actually playing Hearth today for a little bit, doing the new Tavern Brawl. It's the first co-op Tavern Brawl they've ever done, where you're actually working with someone else to beat an NPC. It's a lot of fun. You guys should play it with me.
And which is this in Hearthstone?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been playing a little bit here and there, so.
So you get a free pack for even losing. So I got my free pack today, and it's the classic, which I still needed a lot of the legendaries off of the classic. Lo and behold, I got one common, 3 rares, which one of them was a gold rare, and a legendary off that pack.
Wow.
And it was a little legendary I wanted, Hogger. And so I was pretty stoked. I took a screenshot and sent it to you guys.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I was impressed.
All right,
So
well,
we can't call you Bad Luck Joe anymore.
well,
No,
hopefully
it's
that
still
will
Bad Luck
change.
Joe.
Well,
He's always had good. He's always had luck opening packs.
yeah, I've always had luck opening
It's
packs,
the
just
playing.
not
Okay.
playing. I was playing a little bit of Hearthstone before the show today because I have a quest to do my rogue. First game, I laid waste to the guys playing. The last 2 games I played, my luck was god awful and couldn't draw anything, so got destroyed by someone playing a basic deck, a starter deck. It's embarrassing.
All right, Bad Luck.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna get into the real meat and potatoes of the show here in just a second. Before we do, we got a little bit of gaming news that we thought was important enough to really bring up. It's not Fallout 4 Battlefront related, but important enough. Justin, what is it?
It's the Extra Life streaming event. It's starting on Saturday, and it's a 24-hour streaming event. You don't have to do all 24 hours all at once. You can space it out over a number of days, but typically people do it all on Saturday just because it's more fun to do it that way. And what it is a charity event ran by gamers, and people donate to the Children's Miracle Network, and that is a bunch of different hospitals around the country. I think even around the world. I think there's some hospitals in other parts of the world that are part of the Children's Miracle Network. It's a wonderful event. It's ran, as far as I know, it's been run for like 3 or 4 years, and the amount that gets donated every year seems to go up and up and up. I think last year was somewhere upwards of I think they raised like $5 million or something.
Yeah, it's the #1 gaming charity. It's awesome.
And lots of big streamers are going to be doing it. A lot of them are grouping up with each other and meeting up with each other and doing it live on the air and houses and things like that. Companies are getting involved in it. It's a really cool event to be a part of.
Cool. Well, we're talking about doing this now, right?
Yeah.
Are we going to get involved with this?
Yeah, we're in talks as a team about doing it. I don't know how much I'll be able to do, but probably that night I could do a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we can switch off. I mean, I don't know if I could do 24 hours, but
Oh no, I'm probably the only one in the group that could do a solid 24 hours.
yeah, we'll leave that to you then, Justin.
Well, I plan on relieving him
I
at some
would like
point.
to take shifts, so maybe I could take a nap before it's my late evening shift.
Like I said, that night I could definitely do it.
Joe and I can come in, and we can do maybe some ESO and
Heck yeah, the new expansion.
do a Hearthstone or do something else. Sure, we can do plenty of other things to keep that stream going.
And I promise not to stream Football Manager with my fingers crossed behind my back and looking up
God.
at a right-hand corner.
God.
Thank goodness. No, Justin. We want people
Yes,
to actually
yes.
want to watch this stream and not take a nap.
Not fall asleep.
So we're going to get right into the meat and potatoes now. We're going to go into Battlefront because we don't have as much. We have a lot for Fallout, and that's the big one. That's one coming out next week. We got a quick trailer here, which is the Jakku?
Jakku, yeah.
Yeah, Jakku trailer.
Jakku trailer.
So this is a fairly
the
newer
DLC.
one. So I'm going to go ahead and show this.
Yeah, so those of you who purchase Battlefront, you'll get this DLC for free in December.
Still say that the graphics in this game are freaking incredible.
It is so realistic. Well, as realistic as you can make lasers and lightsabers. And,
Well, yeah.
yes.
It's almost as close as like being in a movie. Like you're watching a movie with you being in it.
Right, and they so they also announced recently that they added. I think we talked about this briefly. They added more heroes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We got a little bit
They
of
revealed-
huh? What, Justin?
I said they revealed more heroes.
Right.
Everyone knew they were going to have more heroes. They just
Oh,
revealed
yeah.
what they were and things like that.
So we got a little bit of tidbits about Battlefront. On the planets and the maps that we know of right now: Endor, Hoth. So they got Ice Caves, Echo Base, Icy Plains, Jakku, which is the first the first DLC. Celeste, Tatooine, which is cool.
Tatooine.
Yeah. Battlefront with ship with 12 multiplayer maps, plus 2 more in the free DLC of Jakku. The mission maps are not included in the 12 map count. The 12 multiplayer map count. At release, the game will be released November 17th in North America and 19th in Europe for PS4, PC, and Xbox. They have 2 editions, a standard and deluxe edition, which I'm not too sure what's the difference, but frankly,
You get a couple of the card things early.
okay.
You know those card things from the beta.
Yeah,
that we
so
had?
this is the collector's edition, really.
Or the PS4 pre-order special edition, which I really wish I had money for.
The cool Darth Vader PS4?
Yeah, that sexy looking PS4
Yeah, I saw it
with,
over
with
at.
the beautiful controller that's supposed to be like Darth Vader's breastplate.
Supposedly, you do more damage too. If you have the deluxe edition, according to what I'm reading here, it says you inflict more damage on enemy vehicles with the ion grenade and the ion torpedo, locks onto and delivers extra damage to your opponent's vehicles.
That
Yeah,
is
you
such an
unlock
EA
those
move.
cards.
That's such
Yeah.
an EA move. I hate that. That's a buy to
Yeah,
win.
I agree.
hate that. That's the definition of buy to win right there.
Right? Exactly.
Well,
And
you can get those cards with playing anyways. Those were just you get them earlier.
You're getting them earlier, right? You're
Yeah.
getting them by buying.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's not too
That's
bad.
my point.
Yeah.
So the general game aspects, bots will be available in certain modes, okay. Co-op missions, both offline, split screen, and online. We did one of the co-ops during beta. That was pretty fun.
Yes.
Split screen on console, which is what it should be. The game focuses on surface warfare, including dogfights with space fighters. The game uses a buddy system where two people can form a group, and this is pretty fun too. Spawn on each other and also share unlocks.
That was a lot of fun. And your group, you also share what cards you have active, so it works really well if you have people running two different sets of cards.
That's really cool.
I don't agree with this statement that the game will contain plenty of stuff to unlock, achieve, and collect. I didn't see that. And for everything I've been reading, that's not what that is. The game will focus on original trilogy and not the prequel era, thank God. The sequel era will be introduced in the first DLC, Battle of Jakku.
Right.
Which is awesome. The game will run at 60 frames per second on all platforms. That's if you have the right specs for your PC. Otherwise, it won't hit that.
Exactly. I mean, how can they say that?
I don't know.
If you don't have the appropriate specs, then it's not going to run at 60 FPS.
Who knows?
Oh well.
There will be no traditional
It's
campaign, but instead missions to mimic iconic battles. That's kind of a bummer, but I kind of expected that too.
Scenarios, okay. Even the old Battlefronts never really had a campaign. They had an interesting little mode that was kind of like a campaign, but it wasn't anything special either.
Yeah. They go over a couple of the cars, and there's really not much. When it comes to customization, there's really little in this game. It's a bummer on that end, but...
Well, that's what they know about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what they've released. Like, you're supposed to be able to customize your character and stuff, too, so... We'll see how that works out.
What information we have about multiplayer game modes currently? The game modes that are played online with up to 40 players. Blast, the map Blast, is a 10v10 team deathmatch. I verboed that one. Verbo typoed. Cargo, drop zone, not too much information yet. Fighter Squadron is a 20 versus 20 starfighter game mode. 20 players versus 20 bots, where the goal is to reach 200 points first. Full details on how the game mode works. Well, not versus, but it'd be 20 players with 20 bots. Heroes versus villains, nothing there yet. Supremacy is 20 versus 20, conquest style game mode, but with only 2 command points active at once. A Walker Assault is a 40-player mode, where you need to capture the uplink to either protect or destroy the AT-ATs. We did this one in beta.
Yes.
That's the one
and
that
it was severely unbalanced,
Yeah,
which
that's the
they said
unbalanced.
they were working on.
And more to be announced. Probably won't get more at all until it releases.
Which, I think the Hoth battle should be somewhat unbalanced, just to keep in line with the movie, but it was too unbalanced.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Unspecific. Single-player co-op game modes. Battles go head-to-head with a friends supported by armies of AI. Hero battles face off as iconic characters such as Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, and others. Trials. Nothing. Rebel. Survival. Fight alone or with a friend against 15 waves of enemies ranging from both infantry and vehicles. Imperial only missions are confirmed, but not much info on them. The current ground vehicles are the AT-ST, AT-AT, and the speeder bikes. Air vehicles, you got pretty much all of them. The Millennium Falcon, the Snow Speeder, the TIE Fighter, X-Wing, Y-Wing, TIE Interceptor, and the A-Wing. And a whole list of weapons, actually very few. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and only 6 of those are guns. That's kind of nothing. So they need to add
It's
a lot
EA.
more.
It's
Yeah.
EA. What do you expect? They're gonna nickel and dime you for everything. It's EA.
Yep. So what we know of the iconic playable characters, which you get to play for like a brief 2 minutes in certain game modes. Boba Fett has a wide set of weaponry. He's got a EE-3 carbon rifle, wrist rocket, wrist flamethrower, and jetpack. That's not a wide array. I'm sorry. That's nothing.
Well, this is again all they're telling you about
Yeah.
at this point. But they're saying he has a wide set of weaponry.
Darth Vader uses a more ponderous playstyle compared to Luke. He's got a heavy sweep to take out multiple enemies, force choke, and saber throw for multiple enemies. Luke Skywalker uses an acrobatic playstyle. He does a heavy sweep for his AoE, a saber rush, which is a quick attack that propels forward, and force push. There's talks of R2-D2, C-3PO, Han Solo, we already know, Chewbacca, and Leia.
Yeah, we know they're there, but they, at the time of this being put in, probably they didn't update it.
But yeah, that's pretty much all the info currently out about it, other than what we've played in beta. So, and it's getting very close to release, so it's not surprising. It's EA for you.
No. EA tends to keep things pretty tight to their chest. They don't like to release information.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Any other
they like
thoughts
to
on
make
it,
the
guys?
games- They put out enough information to make the games exciting, and then let you find out the rest when you play it.
From my
I
experience,
had fun with it in beta, so
Yeah.
I think it'll still be a decent game. I just have a problem. It's EA, but
Well,
I still think it's worth getting.
and I'm one of the people that didn't enjoy it. So
my concern with it in a big way is the fact that I feel like I'm going to get bored with it after a week.
yep,
I'm going to unlock everything and just be bored with it. It's just going to be the same thing because there's just not enough content in that game. There's not.
that's what it felt like to me. There is no content. It's more just battles. That's fine if you're into the first-person shooter games, which I'm not.
Well,
So if you're a first-person shooter, you're not into first-person shooters, and that seems what this game is geared to.
even if you are into first-person shooters, a lot of us who are veterans of that genre are used to things like Call of Duty, where you got a lot of carrot on the sticks. You got a ton of weaponry, a ton of little features you can change out in your weapons to make them uniquely yours. On top of that, all your multiple levels and ranks that you can achieve. You get to level 50, you go to Prestige, and there's like 50 different Prestiges, so you've got 600 levels there, you know?
Gotcha. Yeah,
So that's
there's a lot to do.
Yeah, that's
besides
your carrot on a
just-
stick.
Yeah. There's goals. Yeah, there's goals, and who knows? Who knows? But,
Plus rankings and things like that are involved.
the only thing I could say that it has to its benefit is the tremendous graphics.
Yeah, that's the one thing I can say about it.
Yep.
I'm with you on that one, Fred. That's phenomenal. If you're a Star Wars nut, it's worth it.
Nice. It had a Battlefront feel to it.
Which was?
Star Wars had a lot of battlefield vehicle warfare feel to it.
My thing about the vehicle warfare, Justin, is you were only in there for a minute or two, and you had to pick up a special
I lasted the
icon.
whole game.
Hmm?
I lasted the whole game in X-Wing and stuff.
Okay, so I didn't, my son didn't, his friend didn't, and someone else I knew
I
never
know I
spent
didn't.
more than a minute or two in them.
So it's a rare thing then. You know that you did. That's one person out of 5. So that could be just us, but
And the AT-AT, I did. You had a set amount of time. That's just because they were extremely powerful. And the AT-STs, I did about half a game in at one point in time.
Yeah.
What I'm basically saying, Justin, is that there's not points where you can get into like these massive AT-AT battles and be there the entire game within the vehicle guaranteed. When you're doing that, you got to go rush to get an icon that's the other people are rushing to get. And then you zone into it, and as soon as you're dead, you're done. You're back into the battlefield. And oftentimes, for everything I saw, you weren't in there very long, depending on how you played it. If you stayed back and didn't do much, yeah, you'd survive it. I think the longest I went on AT-AT was probably 3 minutes, and got about 10 kills.
I think the AT-AT was your max.
Or AT-ST, I mean, sorry. The two-legged dude. So yeah, I still have a lot of concern with Battlefront. A lot. But
to me, this is a game that I wouldn't buy right now. Yeah, I'm lucky. I have EA access on my Xbox One, so
cool.
I can actually play it for free for about 10 hours just to see the game and see if it's something I can really get into or not. But you know, I don't have to. I wouldn't go out and buy it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
I'll play it through EA access.
My money is tight, and I don't have that expendable money on a game that I know I'm probably going to put down after a week. So I don't know if it goes on sale, which is extremely rare with EA. I'll probably pick it up.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. We'll have to see. It could
who knows?
release,
You know,
and
6 months to a year later, it might go down.
Yeah,
you know,
it could release, and Justin could pick it up and stream it, and I can be like, well, it's a lot better than I was expecting, and pick it up.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. See somebody else's gameplay.
I'll probably pick it up, but I'm just gonna wait till after our next game for a little while.
Yeah.
I gotta get that one first.
Speaking of which,
that one's top of my list.
how about we get in?
I actually pre-ordered it. I wasn't going
Nice.
to, but I did.
Well, nice, very nice. So
Yeah, I had to. I got it for the Xbox too. I decided this is something I want to see on the console.
okay, cool. That's good that you got that perspective on it. That's neat. Speaking of which, that is Fallout 4, ladies and gentlemen, the game that we are really getting into.
Yeah.
The game that pretty much knocked E3 on its hiney right at the beginning, and was the talk of E3 for pretty much the entire show. Even though many people already knew it was coming, but the details about the game is what's really shocking people and making us think it's going to be good. It is good. I have first-hand experience. It's really good. I can't say anything about that experience, but it's good.
Yep.
Joe.
And I cannot wait to play it on next Tuesday.
Come play.
Justin, it's okay, buddy. It's okay, bud. So we're going to kick this off, guys, with a trailer. We're going to go ahead and watch the Wanderer trailer. I thought it looked cool, and people were concerned about the dog and all that, so I'll take a look at this.
Yeah, let's get that straightened out now.
The hair of the dog, I bet you.
It won't go to full screen. What the heck? Unavailable. See, now check out that dog. Come on.
That's a beautiful. Oh my goodness, look at that.
Because I'm a
one
wanderer.
loyal friend.
We got some things to talk about that dog here in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually on one of the videos. Facts you probably didn't know.
Oh,
Which
yeah?
we're going to get to that right now, actually, guys. We're going to talk about this as we watch it. We're going to get into the first one is top 10 things or things that you need to know about, or facts. So we'll do the facts first, the overall Fallout facts. This is entertaining. We'll do this one
You're
first.
gonna do that one first?
Yeah. We're going to do the Fallout facts first, which is like overall Fallout, kind of like behind the scenes stuff. It's a pretty cool video. So we're going to go ahead and watch this one.
About the Fallout series that you probably didn't know. The Fallout series is so great, we know you guys love it. So let's crack it open and see what we could find, starting off with number 10. Actor Matthew Perry. Good old Matthew Perry. A lot of you guys probably know him as Chandler from Friends. Well, he's the actor who voices Benny in Fallout New Vegas. How exactly did this go about? Well, apparently he was a huge fan of Fallout 3. He confessed his love for the game during an interview on Ellen DeGeneres' show, and even presented Ellen with a signed copy of the game to give to her as a gift. Apparently, the New Vegas developers noticed this, gave him a call, and asked him to play the character Benny.
Like I said, baby, all Benny needs is a stealth boy and a bobby pin.
Matthew Perry was really serious about his Fallout addiction. He even confessed that apparently he had to see a doctor about his hands cramping up from playing the game so much. Maybe that's a little hyperbole, but I always knew I liked Chandler.
Gamer stuff.
At number 9, did you
Gamer
guys know
problems.
that the Japanese version of Fallout doesn't allow the player to detonate the megaton bomb?
Yep.
Yes, that famous quest towards the beginning of Fallout 3, the power of the atom, really is one of the defining moments in the game, but in Japan it was cut. More interestingly, the nuke launcher
successfully,
weapon, the Fat Man, is not
disarmed
called
it.
the Fat Man in the Japanese
I did-
version.
I did-
It's got
I've
an
done
equally
both.
cool name of the Nuka launcher.
It's a great
This was
way to
because
start off
Fat
an
Man
evil
was actually
character.
the name of the atomic bomb dropped on Nagasaki in 1945, ending World War II. So it kind of
That
makes
would be
sense
a
that
little
they changed the
insensitive.
name and maybe wanted to avoid the
Jeez.
nuke stuff.
Come on, live with it.
At number 8,
Right.
Fallout 3 was actually
Oh,
intended
wait till
to
you
have
get
more
one of the later
survival
ones.
gameplay. Bethesda really wanted to capture the feel of
India one?
surviving in a post-apocalyptic
Uh-huh.
wasteland,
Oh, God,
as
yeah. That
evidenced
made me
by
laugh.
keeping yourself healthy in the game and keeping track of your radiation. But they wanted to go deeper than that. In the early stages of developing Fallout 3, Bethesda actually conceptualized surgery mini-games. Yes, surgery mini-games probably in the same vein as Surgeon Simulator, in which you had to cauterize and patch up bad wounds that your character
Oh,
received out in
jeez,
the
I'm glad they
wasteland.
didn't put that
Maybe
in
it would
there.
feel a little bit like Metal Gear
That
Solid
would've been
3
cool,
Snake
but
Eater.
I think it
That
would've
being
been
said,
a
though,
lot.
Bethesda ended up deciding against this because
Yeah,
they
that
wanted
would've been
to
too
kill the
much.
pacing of the combat and the gameplay. You already spend a ton of
Yep.
time in the Pip-Boy menus in the game, so I guess Bethesda decided that the last thing you need is to sit in another menu clicking on things. At number 7, Fallout 2 in 1998 was actually the first game to feature same-sex marriages. And that's pretty cool, making Fallout 2 way ahead of its time. And I mean, look at today, most games don't
Wow.
even bat an eye including same-sex relationships or marriages in their games. It's kind of funny though, because in Fallout 2, the charisma score required for marriage was higher for same-sex marriages, and it was even higher for male same-sex marriages than female ones. So,
That's
funnily
funny.
enough, there was still kind of a double standard there. And in Fallout 2, you could do a bunch of stuff to your significant other. You could give a homeless priest some whiskey to get an official divorce. You could also shoot your significant other directly in the face and kill them, or you could do the profitable post-apocalyptic thing and sell them into slavery. Fallout 2's
jeez.
Oh, there you
release
go,
is
that's
seriously
smart.
open-ended and way ahead of their
I had
time.
enough of you. You're going to
At number
slavery.
6, Fallout 3 initially
Sorry,
had trouble
babe.
releasing in
Oh,
India,
here's the
and
India
it was
one.
actually banned for a while. Fallout 3 is not for sale officially in India due to cultural sensibility.
I
In the
hope you're
Fallout games, there is a
happy.
mutated two-headed cow named Brahmin, and in the Hindu religion, cows are worshipped, with Brahmin being the name of a certain breed of cattle in India, and also being of prominent religious significance. It was a pretty tricky thing, and apparently Bethesda didn't want to change the name of their famous irradiated post-apocalyptic cows. So as a result, legitimate buyers of the game in India lost out and couldn't really get the game. Illegal sources are the only place to get the
That's
game in
funny.
India, or you could get it gifted
Oh
to you on
my
Steam from a
gosh.
friend
It
in the
is.
US. It was a shame that during Fallout 3's release, Bethesda didn't just cut the content from the game to sell it in India. At number 5, we have one of the best, most saddest Easter eggs ever. In the Fallout New Vegas add-on Lonesome Road, there's a fossilized dog statue that you can stumble upon and pick up and keep in your inventory named Seymour. Seymour is actually an Easter egg referencing Fry's dog in the episode Jurassic Bark from Futurama.
I love that
If any of
episode.
you watch Futurama, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That is one of the saddest episodes of a cartoon ever. You guys remember that final shot when Seymour lays down and closes his eyes?
We really didn't have to play it. It's too sad. Oh.
Oh, it kills me. So it was really nice and charming for them to include this Easter egg in the game, as a nod to Futurama's starring character's most faithful pet. At number 4, if you could tell on this list, New Vegas is full of a ton of little quirks. A New Vegas animator actually created a giant gecko lizard nicknamed in the code Gojira. It will be used to run around and terrorize Camp McCarran in the game. This Gojira was a reskinned and drastically resized version of the fire gecko of the game that towered over anything else in the world. And the Gojira lizard code still exists in the game's assets, so if you're a crafty modder, you can summon that thing.
Yeah.
At number 3, the Fallout lore is filled with a bunch of different vaults. The vaults, for those of you that don't know, are vault-tech establishments that survivors flock to find sanctuary from the coming nuclear winter.
Okay,
There's
these
so
are
many
some of the
vaults, each
interesting-
one
I like
has their
these
own
ones.
interesting story. One of the funniest ones, there's Vault 69,
Ooh, look at that
a
big
vault
mouth.
populated by one man and 999 women.
Lucky
There's also
man.
a counterpart, Vault 68, that's occupied by
Unlucky men.
999 men and one
I was gonna
woman.
say,
The
who you
purpose of many
saying,
of these
lucky?
vaults, while there were some that were designed to preserve life,
Bro, you got a
were
good
there to
point.
conduct experiments, such as this weird one. And like I said, there's a bunch of cool vaults that are fun to explore in-game or research and look up to find out what exactly went wrong in these little microcosms of civilization or social experiments. At number 2, the dangerously explosive cars from the Fallout games, most notably Fallout 3, are based on the Ford Nucleon, a failed nuclear-powered concept car from the 1950s. You know, those cars that are scattered everywhere in Fallout 3 that have an explosion way bigger than they have any business having.
Wait for it.
Ford nuclear.
Boom.
The reason there's so many nuclear-powered cars in the Fallout universe is that gas actually retailed for $1,450 a gallon towards the end.
Oh my
which is why
gosh.
most of the cars you see in the later game are nuclear-powered. A nuclear-powered car is something I never ever would want to drive around in my life. What a stupid and dangerous idea. No
come
wonder
on,
the
just
people
put
in the
your
world in the Fallout universe
pedal
all died
in the
out.
middle.
At number 1, let's talk about what makes the Fallout series tick. Fallout was actually
$1,450
inspired by A
99
Boy
a
and
gallon.
His Dog, a narrative by Harlan Ellison. The games take a lot of other little influences, of course, with a touch of Mad Max. A Boy and His Dog tells the story of a boy and his telepathic dog who work together as a team to survive in the
Dumb and Dumber
post-apocalyptic wasteland
28.
after a huge nuclear war. Sounds familiar? Well, it should. Especially with Fallout 4 and how you can have dog meat as your companion. In 1975, the book was adapted into a movie starring Don Johnson. You can even catch this influence, especially in Fallout 3, and it totally explains why John Henry Eden always mentions a boy and his dog in his newscast. So if you ever wanted a little more insight into the creation and influence of the Fallout series, definitely check out A Boy and His Dog. Whoa, hang on there, folks. We got a bonus
Okay,
fact
I'll
as
watch
well.
that
You know
now.
that adorable vault boy that everybody loves who's always given a thumbs up? This is a little bit of a legend and a fan theory, but apparently that thumbs up he's giving actually has to do with safety practices for the nuclear fallout back in the 50s. Back during the Cold War, everyone was paranoid about getting hit with an A-bomb, so students in classes were taught drills to hide in case of a nuclear explosion. Kids were instructed to duck and cover in a prone position with their face down under their desk. And apparently the best
That's
judge of
right.
safety was extending your arm, putting out a thumbs up, and pointing it at the atomic blast cloud of the explosion. If the explosion was bigger than your thumb, then you were not a safe distance from the explosion and you should probably run. It makes sense and it's kind of cool and clever if you think about it, but honestly, if a nuclear bomb went off anywhere near you that you could see, you should probably run the hell away. So guys, those were 10 facts about the Fallout
But we
series
weren't
that you may
taught
not have known.
that.
We tried to find some interesting...
No, you were taught to hide in something that did
We were
absolutely
taught to
nothing for
hide
you.
under our desks and measure it.
Yeah,
He's telling the truth. That's a true story.
that's pretty cool.
Yep.
I like those facts. That was pretty cool. Some of the things, like the India one, made me chuckle though. That was just
Yeah.
stupid.
All right. So what's the 10 things you probably didn't know?
Things you need to know?
Oh, I thought we just did the things we needed to know.
No, that's just
No.
basic Fallout
Oh,
trivia.
It's just fun facts you probably didn't know about
Yeah.
the Fallout series in general.
What do we need to know then?
The next video is for Fallout 4 specifically on 10 things you need to know. So
Oh, good.
we're gonna
Okay.
go ahead and watch that one now.
That's important.
And it went to the wrong.
Use in a way
freaking
that
screen.
augments your playstyle. Each stat will have its own skill tree, whether it be skill, perception, endurance, charisma,
And it went
Pre-ordered
way up.
Fallout
There we
4
go.
using Amazon or another vendor that does not charge you until the time that the game is shipped. You need to make sure that the credit, and that's why today GameRanks is bringing you 10 things you
There we
need
go.
to know
That's the right
about
one.
Fallout 4. Number 10, if you've pre-ordered Fallout 4 using Amazon or another vendor that does not charge you until the time that the game is shipped, you need to make sure that the credit card you pre-ordered with is still valid when they ship. I mean, there's a variety of reasons why you would need to use a different card before the game ships. For
That's why you
instance,
just
your
use
credit card
Steam.
could expire. You could end up
that
losing
makes
it. At least once a year, I leave my card in an ATM. I know it's stupid, but it happens. Then there's
really
the chance
stupid.
that you may have used a prepaid card,
Very
or you
stupid.
changed banks, or any number of reasons. The point is you want Fallout 4 as early as you can get it. And in order to get that, you have to be able to pay for it. So make sure you go to Amazon or wherever you ordered it and update your payment information. This can all be avoided. Number 9. The Xbox Marketplace has revealed that the Fallout 4 file size is around 28 gigabytes. Now that's pretty obviously for the Xbox One version of the game, but a good thing to remember is that there's not usually that big of a difference between platforms. A JPEG is a JPEG whether it's on the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, or a PC. Pretty much everyone is using Blu-ray or downloaded media at this point, so once they've conformed the file size to one system, it should basically be what they do other than code changes for all the systems. Some
PC is
AAA
slightly
games are
bigger,
getting a bit
actually,
out of
because it
hand
adds
with
more
download
content.
size, and this is
Yep,
pretty
that's
average. Number 8. Okay, this is going to be a little bit complex, so stay with me here. So Bethesda claims that leveling in Fallout 4 is going to be faster than before, and that the game will feature no level cap, which I think is pretty cool. So, as is pretty standard, when you level up, you're going to pick special stats. These stats obviously affect your skills as you're playing the game, and it's important to choose in a way that augments your playstyle. Each stat will have its own skill tree, whether it be skill, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, or luck. As you level up a particular special stat, you'll unlock more perks along the tree. You do actually start off with a pretty fair amount of special points, which allows you to kind of angle what you're doing right off. So if you know how you're going to play, make sure you spend special points in a way that complements that. So the more points you put into a stat, the more exotic the perks that you get. Going by an example given by Bethesda, the Agility 1 perk, called Gunslinger, gives you 20% more damage with pistols, whereas if you take Agility all the way to 10, the perk Gun Fu is unlocked, which makes it so that your second target in the VATS targeting system takes 25% more damage regardless of what weapon you're carrying. Okay, pretty easy to follow so far, but according to Bethesda, each perk itself is actually a mini perk tree. So once you've earned Gun Fu, you can now level up Gun Fu itself. So each perk itself has different ranks. For instance, Gunslinger, which is the Agility level 1 perk that we mentioned, may start off giving you 20% more damage with pistols, but it has ranks that actually up the range of pistols, a rank that also gives you the option to disarm enemies, and even instant limb crippling shots. So bear in mind, this is straight from Bethesda and gives you a massive level of customization to your character's moveset. We're not speaking on a basic or rudimentary level either. A perk used to be a perk. In Fallout 4, a perk is a group of perks. Now, as you rank up each perk, your character has to be a higher level to use those ranks. What I like about it is it basically encourages you to take leveling seriously. There are 70 base perks. You can customize your gameplay quite a bit with just the base perks, but with perk ranks, there's over 270 different perks. Not only do you have the perk tree, but you also have comics that grant you perks, which there's supposedly 100 of those. Essentially, the game rewards you for playing the game. And the perk system at the moment is probably unmatched by any of those in a mainstream video game. Number 7, if you pre-order Fallout 4 on Steam, you actually get a Dota 2 bonus. Now, I rather like this. You know the announcers in Dota 2? You know how Fallout 4 has Mr. Handy the Robot Butler? Well, if you feel like replacing the announcer voices in Dota 2 with Mr. Handy, in mid-November, the Fallout 4 announcer pack will allow you to do just that. So it may not be out the day of Fallout's release, but that's not really that bad. If you're excited about this and you pre-ordered it anyway, enjoy. Like, if you ask me, this is a pretty cool bonus. I like Mr. Handy's voice.
The worst thing on that? It's not mutated bears or giant roaches. No. It's you, boss. That's right. You Munkeys.
Oh, Mr. Handy, you complete me. Number 6, there are no DLC exclusives with Fallout 4. If you have a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One or a PC, the DLC is going to be on all of them. I mean, DLC is often a vehicle for the worst of a game. Bethesda typically isn't like that, though. Their DLCs are usually pretty darn good. And the fact that they're making sure that everyone has access to it, well, if they've got the money, in my opinion is a favorable decision. What I find particularly nice is that their season pass is $30, and if we're going off any other of Bethesda's games, as far as the DLC goes, it's going to be a lot. With some other games' season passes totaling like $40 and probably not having nearly as much content as what Bethesda will throw at us. It's pretty fair to say that they take the idea of making DLC that doesn't suck, a part of their business model that isn't detrimental to everybody who's playing the games. Number 5, the PlayStation 4 version is going to be working at a solid 30 frames per second. The game is apparently going to be locked there, and you're not going to see any dips, and everyone's going to be happy. At least that is what Pete Hines has said, and I tend to trust Pete Hines. He's usually pretty good at not being one of those hype-oriented people.
And the other thing
He's pretty realistic generally. Now, being they have said the PS4 version is going to be
tells you how awake I am.
locked at 30 frames per second, solid. I want to know exactly what that means for the PC version. Hopefully they don't go the Arkham Knight route and lock it at 30 frames per second as well. Although if they learned anything from the outrage that caused, hopefully they release an optimized version of the game that people with high-end computers can push out more than 30 frames per second with. Number 4, if you pre-order the Fallout Gold Edition, you'll get some nice Vault Boy socks. And while that might sound stupid, look at the socks. They're actually cool. They would probably cost, my guess is probably $20 players on account they're a collector's item and not just socks. Oh, and the socks aren't the only reason to get the gold edition. For $85, you're getting the game and the season pass for about $5 less than you would spend otherwise. If the socks cost $20, that would be a savings of $25. But if the socks even cost just $5, which they would cost more than that, this bundle would be saving you $10. I mean, if you're playing the game on a console and you plan to take advantage of the season pass, this is the best way to do it. Number 3, Fallout 4 discs on the PC are going to be intentionally missing content to discourage piracy. Fallout 4 for the PC is shipping on a DVD, not a Blu-ray, meaning it's missing a very large portion of the game's data. The disc does contain more than just an installer that downloads the game from Steam. When Pete Hines said this on Twitter, people reacted pretty negatively, but old Pete was quick to remind people that they've been doing it for over a decade. For instance, Skyrim on the PC is sold this way. Number 2, Fallout mods are going to work on consoles. Now we know for sure that means Xbox One, and we hope it means PS4. Now they want you to be able to do just about anything that you want to with the mods. To put it in game director Todd Howard's words, they actually want you to be able to break the game if you want. They have a couple of safety things in place on the console, but at the same time, they're going to let you go wild. There is going to be a minor approval process regarding console mods. It's not going to be a massive approval process, and probably most things will go through, except licensed material and nudity. Or to put it in Mr. Howard's words once again, either your nudity or your porn, that kind of stuff, or you're taking assets from Halo. Now that means you definitely won't see Master Chief in Fallout 4, and you probably won't see Iron Man and Thor either. Anything Disney related, that is just right out. But it probably also means some of the fairly ridiculous things people have done, like replacing the dragons in Skyrim with Thomas the Tank Engine. I'm pretty sure Thomas has got a trademark. And the thing to remember is that it's not just Bethesda that is in play here. Yes, they would be legally liable for that kind of content entering their game, but Microsoft and Sony would as well, due to the way the licensing process works. That being said, it doesn't really seem like these policies take precedent on the PC version. So if you want to drop the terrible in-game models from 1997's Final Fantasy VII into the game, go for it. At least on the PC, you'll be able to do that. And finally, number 1, you need to know the minimum PC requirements for Fallout 4. First off, it requires 64-bit Windows 7 or up. Any of the 32-bit Windows versions are not going to work with Fallout. You'll need an Intel Core i5 clocked at 2.8 GHz, or an AMD Phenom 2 X4 clocked at 3.0 GHz, or an equivalent of one of the two. If you have any less than 8 GB of RAM on your PC at this point, you A, won't be able to play Fallout, and B, when did you buy your PC, and did you spend a couple $100s on it? You'll obviously need that roughly 30 GB of free hard drive space, and you will need a decent graphics card at least, an NVIDIA GTX 550 Ti 2 GB, or an AMD Radeon HD 7870 2GB, or an equivalent of one of those two cards. The game should look pretty nice, and play pretty nice at minimum, if indeed you're on a budget system. And I do have a little bit of a bonus for you. It's the Fallout controller. Now, if you want to talk the best looking color scheme I've seen on an Xbox controller, there you go. It's right there. I am someone who does not like changes of color in the mainline controllers. I generally like a black controller, but this one just completely outdoes what one can expect from one of these types of controllers. That is just cool as hell. Now, if you're excited for Fallout 4, make sure you leave a comment. I hope we helped you out with some of this stuff. Don't forget to click the like button, especially...
So there you guys go. What do you think?
Awesome.
Yep.
Gotta say, I love it.
So like he said, Season Pass, $30 for all DLC. And there was mention that they said that the minimum value of the DLC that they'll be releasing will be roughly $40 or more, because they don't know exactly how much DLC they're going to be releasing yet. They have no scheduled release for DLC.
And let's point that that's forever. That's not just 1 year.
Yeah.
Right.
And if it's anything like they did with Skyrim with that amount of DLC, it will be well worth it.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. As for story, Bethesda refuses to give us any details about the story prior to launch. I agree with that. I think that would be a spoiler.
I agree with that too.
Yeah. However, the official Bethesda Twitter feed revealed that there's over 11,000 lines of dialogue in the game currently.
Holy moly.
Which is something that Bethesda does quite a bit.
That's a lot of voice acting.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty much the same as what they did for Skyrim, what they did for ESO.
Yep.
That for any Elder Scrolls game,
Yeah.
they've done for Fallout 3 as well.
Fallout 4 offers players what Bethesda is calling an enormous dynamic world, where you can go wherever, do whatever, and be whatever you want to be, which is typical for Bethesda, actually.
Skyrim, sci-fi Skyrim.
Yeah, exactly. This is exactly what this is feeling like and looking like to me.
Yep, I agree.
Player freedom remains our absolute #1 goal, explained Bethesda. As with Fallout 3, you'll be able to choose between third and first person. As with everything in Fallout 4, it seems everything is down to player choice.
Excellent.
Again, Skyrim.
Yep.
As you will have,
Typical Bethesda.
yeah, typical Bethesda, which is what people love about it. As you will have seen in the Fallout 4 trailer, you get a dog fairly early in the game, and he'll soon become your best friend. You can give the dog commands by pointing at things in the environment, and it's all contextual. For example, you can ask him to pick things up.
I
Fallout.
wonder if they'll allow you to marry your dog.
Oh no,
I don't think they'll go as far as bestiality.
far off from being socially acceptable. Okay.
Yeah, that's just.
Oh God.
What the heck, Justin? You make me worried.
I mean, what are you doing in your spare time?
Oh, Fido. That tail.
Oh Lord, I don't even want to think about it.
Okay, moving on. Fallout 4 will also bring back the VATS combat targeting system, where you get to choose limbs and stuff like that to shoot at.
That's cool.
Which different mobs, different enemies will have different damage values based on different limbs. So it's pretty cool little mechanic. To me, it almost
It's
feels
also
like cheating.
based on distance and skill with weapon and
Oh,
things
yeah.
like that too.
For your
You
hit.
go for a headshot and things like that.
The new perk system, like we saw in the videos, is much larger and more in-depth than previous Fallout titles, with up to 275 perks in total to choose from, which is pretty cool. One of the big things that people don't realize about Fallout 4 is the crafting system. It's always
That's
been a
really
main...
cool, you're right.
Yeah, it's always been a main component of the Fallout series, but Fallout 4 takes it in a whole new level, in a big way, actually. You can scrap all items in the world for material, everything. Whether that be screws, glue, or other components, this allows you to rebuild the world as you choose. This is about making your own experience. Making yourself a place you'd want to live in for you and your best friend, of course, if you're living in a post-apocalyptic world full of psychos. Yeah, that's right. You can build your own home and settlements in Fallout 4 and make an attempt to rebuild the entire Boston if you wish.
Oh, who would want to do that?
Right?
Why would I want to recreate Boston? Other than the giant green wall, that would have to be rebuilt.
No, I wouldn't even want to see that rebuilt. Maybe Nathaniel Hall. I wouldn't mind seeing that back. But
It'd be fun to rebuild it in your vision, but all the buildings happen in real time dynamically, and as you build your settlement, traders will start arriving to populate it. These traders can offer unique and useful items and make it beneficial to start creating your wasteland empire.
how neat will that be?
Yeah,
Really cool. It'd be really cool if they put it in multiplayer.
Yeah, if there was a multiplayer version. Yeah.
Get on that,
Yeah.
Zoss.
let's do it. Well, they'll probably have modders do that. Which they tried doing that with Skyrim, but it kind of failed.
Yeah, it didn't go too well.
Of course, you'll need to put in some of the infrastructure, though, such as power grids. You'll need these to start generating defenses for your settlement, as your town can and will get attacked by raiders and other baddies.
Of course. Nothing's too easy.
Chat room asks, what is your guys' opinion on pre-ordering, specifically for Fallout 4?
Well,
Well,
any
pre-ordering...
game that you pre-order, you're basically just giving, you're just saying, okay, I want it, and you're going to get it that day.
Here's the trick about
I
pre-ordering.
like it. You also give the developers an opportunity to see how much popularity there is in the
That's
game.
actually not true, to an extent.
That's not true, huh?
It depends on when you pre-order and who you pre-order with. That's what matters. There's companies like... I just had a brain fart. The big ones, the big retailers.
Amazon,
Steam,
Best Buy.
No.
Best Buy,
Box,
I think.
actual store retailers.
Not actual store retailers?
No, actual store retailers, not online.
Okay, so you got Best Buy, you got
GameStop.
GameStop.
GameStop's a big one because what they'll do
Yeah.
is they'll estimate the price and estimate the release date long before it's ever announced. They do this because what they do is they take your money and they invest it. So it's basically you're giving them a loan.
Okay, that's between GameStop and you. But GameStop is still reporting to Bethesda, I need X number of copies.
Those early orders don't do that because they can't do that until the company gives them an official release date. Then they can start giving them numbers. So if you're doing it early, way before the game's even announced, it's
Well,
not going to be good.
That's not what I consider pre-order. I mean, when Bethesda says, okay, it's not going into pre-order, that's what I consider pre-order. I guess I didn't know that you can get it earlier than when the company actually puts it out. I've never purchased a game that early.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I've never purchased a game that early.
Best Buy was famous for a while. They changed their model recently. Though.
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to say, Fred, is that there's some rare occasions where it's not a good idea, but doing it through like Steam and other sources to guarantee your copy, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I've always, like I said, I've never not had a copy sent to me, but.
And the good thing about doing it through Steam, if you're playing on a PC, a lot of times anymore they'll let you pre-install it.
Yeah, they'll preload it for you, so you don't have to wait for the download.
So once it's out,
Like, for example, I pre-ordered
unlocked
mine
and play.
through Microsoft, and it's coming right down onto my Xbox on the day it's available. So it'll be there for me, ready for me to play when, whatever that release date is.
Bethesda doesn't typically do that, Killstar. There are companies that do, EA being a big prime example.
What Justin's talking about is the question was, it seems to me that game companies are just taking content off the original game to make a pre-order bonus. Yeah, Justin's right. Some companies do that.
But Bethesda's never done that.
All right, so let's get back into this. Buildings. Bethesda said that the base creating system of Fallout 4 will be bigger and better than it was in Elder Scrolls Skyrim. There wasn't much building in Skyrim at all, except for indoors. Yeah, in
Once
Skyrim,
you got that house expansion, there was a little bit.
there really was no exterior design.
But that was mods that basically gave you that, wasn't it?
Yeah, there were some mods that did that.
There was a little pack for it.
I know what you're talking about, Justin, but it wasn't very much exterior. It was predetermined exterior pieces.
Yeah.
With only a few customization tools to offer. Fallout 4, on the other hand, gives you a lot more control. In the sense that making your own way in the world and defining who am I and where do I live and what's my story in the world. The actual base building spots themselves will be slightly limited, but within those spaces you'll have a lot of freedom to build whatever you want. So you're getting these little plots and that you can build on, and you can go crazy from there. So you can't just build anywhere. Weapon crafting. This is another big one. Really big one. I actually like this one a lot. Fallout 4 features over 50 base weapons, and there are over 700 modifications for these weapons in-game.
Oh, moly.
There are brand new weapon types like modified baseball bats and jetpacks as well. Basically, you're going to want to pick up as much as you can, so you're going to be a hoarder. It's all about going to be useful for enhancing your gear. You can even modify your own power armor. And finally, guys, the dog cannot die.
Yeehaw.
Oh.
He doesn't even die of old age.
No, so you got the dog forever. You can die. Your dog does not.
I could die, yeah.
That's
But
going to
the
make
dog
PETA
will
happy.
live on.
I saw that someone posted that Killstar, but I missed it before it was taken down.
Really quick, guys, what are your thoughts on Fallout, what we learned about Fallout 4?
Must-buy game.
Oh, it's without a doubt. It is the game of 2016. If you don't have it, I agree. It's a must-buy game. I originally resisted buying it, and the more I heard, the more I read, the more I saw, I finally just said the hell with it. And I pre-ordered it.
You'll not regret that decision, Fred.
Oh no, I agree with you. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. Everything that it has is far beyond what, in my opinion, Fallout 3 was, and it's just like it's a sci-fi version of Skyrim, and I
Yeah.
love Skyrim.
Skyrim was
So I
their
see no reason.
Yeah,
I have
Skyrim
no
was by
reason
far
not
their
to enjoy
biggest
this.
single player hit of all time. So
Yep.
playing on that model
Yep.
was a perfect idea.
Yep, I agree.
All right, guys, before we wrap up the show, we're going to go ahead and get into our Munkey rating. This is where we rate games, whether they're app games, PC games, console games, all the above. We give them a sliding scale from negative to positive. Our positive scale, if the game is good, we want to play it, we recommend playing it, goes from 1 to 5 golden bananas. If we recommend you don't touch this game and run far, far away from it, it'll get a poo pile score. 1 to 5, 5 being the worst. And the opposite side, 5 golden bananas being the best. So we decided to go ahead, since we're doing Fallout this episode, and Fallout 4, we're going to go ahead and review Fallout Shelter, the app game for the iOS as well as Android now. I was really upset when it was only iOS at first, when they announced it, but they fixed that problem.
You poor Android users.
Yeah.
Hey, we're far superior in dash turn number.
So, all three of us have been playing Fallout Shelter. We all have our scores in. I gave it a 2 golden banana. The pros were pretty much because it's got a cool level building concept within like the bunker area. The exploration can be fun to read. You can't really see your guys doing it, but you can read minute by minute what they're doing. After you see it about the 100th time, it's pretty much all the same thing, which is expected. The building combos can get kind of fun, especially when you're doing 1, 2, and 3, and then the different stages. But again, that gets old pretty quick because there's limited amount of space you can build within those walls. You can go up and down like quite a distance, but width is very, very limited. One of the big things I thought was really cool about it, the pay feature is not pay to win, and it does not feel like you have to buy real money stuff to progress the game. It doesn't make the game go by faster. It just is there for extra goodies if you want. And you get plenty of those playing it for free as well. My cons with the game is limited building space from side to side, like I said. People placement can be annoying at times, especially when you get a bigger settlement. You start getting more people, more babies, and you see a bunch of these people wandering around aimlessly. There is no real menu. The menu's a pain in the neck to be able to see who they are and click on them and drag them. You actually have to go within the bunker, find them, and then look at their stats and place them around wherever you want to put them. The leveling up system for the different attributes is very, very slow. Even with a leveled up building, it can be very slow. Let me see here. During organizing your people during a raid is nearly impossible. Because they stick in the room, and when something moves on, they stay right there like nothing ever happened. And then the bad guys go to the next room. So really, the only real strategy in that is just to equip everybody with a gun in every room. And you win.
Yep. And have plenty of Mr. Handies roaming about.
Yeah. Getting new people into your shelter other than mating your people kind of stinks for me. Later on, when you get your radio towers built up and whatnot, it goes by a lot quicker. Before that, though, it's slow, arduous, and it takes a lot of time. So that's why I gave it 2 golden bananas out of 5. Justin.
My main gripe with it was it took forever for it to get the Android. Other than that, I've actually really enjoyed it. I got about halfway down in the vault on the land and the amount of build area you could do before I put it down, and I've kind of forgotten about it for now. But I had a lot of fun with it. It's 2 golden bananas just because it took forever for it to get the Android, so it took forever for me to get to it.
Shame on you. Shame on you, Bethesda.
Hey, I don't like Apple. Shame on Apple.
No, I was saying shame on you, Bethesda, not you, Justin. You're good.
Now, just to say that I hate Apple too, but I like the iPhone.
Shame on you.
Well,
To each their own.
Yeah. Now for Fallout Shelter, I downloaded this from day one when they first announced it was out. I was on my app store and I saw it. I grabbed it, and at first it was like, "Oh, this is fun." Blah blah blah. It has absolutely nothing to do with Fallout, but it was just this cool little thing. But man, I was bored.
Yeah.
I saw there was just, what am I doing? I'm trying to get people together so they can make babies. I feel like I'm playing Fallout Sim. And I don't like to play sim that much. So this really kind of just didn't do it for me. And it, you know, I went down to like 3 or 4. I got down to like 4 levels, and I still would send people out. Some of them wouldn't come back. I'm like, okay, where'd they disappear to? You know, I don't know. They don't tell me. It doesn't tell me what happened to them. At least back then. I don't know if that changed, but I played it for maybe 3 weeks trying to understand what was going on, and I eventually just said, this isn't worth it. The only reason I gave it 1 golden banana, and the reason for that is it's got Fallout's name on it, and it's free.
Okay.
Some people will enjoy it. So
our overall score for Fallout Shelter is 2 golden bananas, so it's worth picking up because it, well, like Fred said, it's free, and it's got Fallout. And if you're looking for something to, you know, scratch that little Fallout itch until the release of Fallout 4, it's a good way to do it. Kill some time when you're waiting on a bus or whatever. So yeah, pick it up. And that's gonna do it for tonight's episode, ladies and gentlemen. We are at our time. Next week's episode, we're gonna give our first actual play impressions of Fallout. I might even record some video to play for next episode. We're not going to do our official review for a couple of weeks until we really get our hands into the game and really get to know it.
Yeah, the game's too in depth to do it in 3 days.
So expect that in about 2 or 3 episodes down the road. That way we can have an actual educated opinion about the game and give you guys a good score on it. And everybody, have a great week gaming. Don't forget, Extra Life streams this weekend. Support the charity and your favorite streamers. And we will probably be doing it ourselves at this very channel, twitch.tv/NM Gaming Show. Good night, everybody.
Night. It's also a Humble Bundle too, if anyone's interested.
Yep. And you can get more information about it at extra-life.org if anybody's interested in finding out about it. You all have a great night. Keep gaming and have fun.
Enjoy.